So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys, based on the time zones you all are coming from. So guys, before we start with the session, can you all please give me a quick confirmation if you all can see my screen and hear me loud and clear as well? Perfect. Thank you for the confirmation, everyone. Those who have joined for the first time. So my name is Neeraj Keria, and I've been working in this IT industry for more than 13 years now. So before we get started, let me quickly introduce our Edureka Masterclass community as well. So this community of masterclasses was started back in 2019, and since then we have been closing into 31,000 members so far. And in these masterclasses, we conduct multiple webinars and live events on different topics, including blockchain, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and multiple front-end and back-end development technologies. And the best part about these webinars are they are absolutely free of cost, so there are no pricing involved here. And these webinars are a really great platform for anyone to learn, to get started learning the technologies that is required to excel in that particular domain. And to get the list of all the webinars along with the links to join them, we can simply click on join this group, and then we will be notified with the entire schedule that has been planned for the month so that we can plan our calendar accordingly. Let me share this link with you all. So the main agenda of today's session is to learn on how exactly we can create a MERN stack app from scratch. So here we are going to see on how exactly we can deploy the MERN stack, how to build the MERN stack as well. So before we do that, let's understand what exactly is MERN. So MERN means simply, now basically, if we talk about any web application, then it has multiple components. For example, first of all, we'll be having a web application as in the web server, where it is going to be used as a front facing of the application. Then we are in the background, we need to have an application, or I guess in the background, we need to have an application server, which should be used as a connector between the front end and the database. And that is what we refer as a simple application server. And then we are going to have a database also defined. So basically, if we talk about the main stack itself, then MERN itself refers to M stands for MongoDB. So we are going to make use of MongoDB as a part of a document-based open source database. Then E stands for the Express.js. So Express is basically a fast, unopinionated, and minimalistic web framework for Node.js. And then we have R. R stands for React. So React is basically a full-fledged JavaScript library for building the user interfaces given to us by Facebook. And then we have N. N stands for Node.js itself. Basically, it's a complete runtime framework built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine, and it simply brings JavaScript to the server, and that is what the entire MERN is based on. So first of all, let's discuss on the individual components as well. What exactly is React.js? So React.js is concerned with the components that utilizes the expressiveness of JavaScript with a HTML-like template syntax. So basically, it is based on the view in MVC structure as in model view controller. So this is going to be the front face of the application that the users are going to interact with. And any changes that we want the users to see, we have to update the view, and that's how it is going to get updated in the browser so that the users can interact with it. So first of all, here we have the concept of virtual DOM itself. So virtual DOM, the DOM, as we know, is document object module itself, right? So that is what DOM is. And here in React, we can create multiple virtual DOM. So it's more like the actual DOM itself. It's more like actual DOM. So virtual DOM is also a node tree that we are going to use to list the elements and their attributes and content as objects and their properties. So React's render function creates a node tree out of React components, and then it updates this tree in response to mutations in the available data model, which is basically caused by various actions done either by the user or by the system as well. And then we have the features for data binding as well. So unlike the other frameworks, React.js follows a unidirectional data flow, or we can say one way, data binding. So the major advantage of one-way data binding is that throughout the application, the data flows in a single direction, which gives us a better control over it. And because of this, application state is contained in specific stores, and as a result, rest of the components remains loosely coupled. So this makes application more flexible, leading to increased efficiency as well. And then we have again the server-side rendering that we refer as SSR as well. So the server-side rendering allows us to pre-render the initial state of our React components, the server side only. And with the server-side rendering, the server's response to the browser becomes only the HTML of the page, which is now ready to be rendered. Thus, the browser can now start rendering without having to wait for all the JavaScript to be loaded and executed. As a result, the web page loads faster. Here, the user will be able to see the web page in spite of React still downloading the JavaScript, creating the virtual DOM, linking events, etc. at the backend. All right, that is what we had defined as a server-side rendering. And then we have Node.js. So if we talk about Node.js, then we know that Node.js is basically a powerful React library itself. Not exactly, we can say it's used as a base of, or we can say as a good JavaScript-based framework that we can use. And then it is developed on Chrome's V8 engine that compiles the JavaScript directly into the native machine code. So it is a lightweight framework used for creating server-side web applications and extends JavaScript API to offer usual server-side functionalities. And it is generally used for large-scale application development, especially for video streaming sites, single-page application, and other web applications. And Node.js makes use of the event-driven, non-blocking input-output model, which is basically used for making it a right pick for data-intensive real-time applications as well. And then it is used for creating server-side web applications, as we discussed, and it's the right pick for data-intensive real-time applications. So it is basically an open source tool as well, so there is no licensing required here. And it is, since it is built on Chrome's V8 engine, it is fast in terms of the code execution. And all libraries in Node.js are asynchronous, which means Node.js-based servers never wait for the API to send back the response and move on to the next API. And it is highly scalable as well. Because of the event mechanism, Node.js is highly scalable and it aids the server in a non-blocking response. And it is single-threaded. That means with the help of event looping, Node.js is able to follow the single-threaded model. And this helps a single program to handle multiple requests. And then it also offers no buffering. So one of the major functionalities of Node.js applications is that it never buffers any data. And then we have cross-platform. So Node.js can be easily built and deployed on various platforms like Windows, Mac, and Linux, making it completely independent upon the platform as well. So these are the features like we had discussed. Now, these two are the building blocks. And then after that, we have something called as Express.js as well. So if we talk about Express.js, then Express.js is a fast and lightweight framework used mainly for web applications development. And the Node.js developers all over the world are totally in love with this framework. So basically, it provides all features of web applications without overshadowing the Node.js features. And through the medium of this Express.js, we can simply get a good insight on the fundamentals as well that we are going to discuss. So basically, Express.js adds the flexibility to an application with a huge range of modules available on the NPM. NPM as in Node Package Manager, and that we can directly plug into Express as per the requirement. And it helps in easy management of the flow of data between servers and routes in the server-side applications. It was developed by TJ, and again, it was released in the market on 22nd of May 2010. And earlier it was managed by IBM, but again, it is simply placed under the Node.js Foundation incubator as well. And that's why there is no licensing required for using Express.js as well. So if we talk about its main features, then Express.js is fast because it simply quickens the development pace of any web application. Here, it also help us in creating mobile and web applications of a single page, multi-page, and even the hybrid type as well. And then it can work with the various templating engines that we have, such as Pug, Mustache, and EJS as well. It also makes the integration process much easier and effortless with databases such as MongoDB, Redis, MySQL, and then it also makes sure that the configuration and customization of the application is also simplified, and it helps in defining an error handling middleware as well. So these are the core features offered by Express.js. So far we had discussed on the components on Express, React, and then we had discussed on Node.js as well. So now we have MongoDB. So MongoDB is basically a document-based database that we have. So it is basically used for providing a high performance and high available and easily scalable database platform. So it is, and that's why it is classified as a NoSQL database that bridges the gap between the key value and traditional RDBMS systems. So MongoDB is a relatively new contender in the data storage circle compared to other giants like Oracle, IBM Database 2, but it has drawn huge attention with its distributed key value store, map-reduced calculation capabilities, and document-oriented NoSQL features. Because of these features, MongoDB is the database for big data processing. And the main idea behind MongoDB is to preserve as much functionality as possible while allowing horizontal scale and at the same time to make developers' life a little more elegant and easier. So MongoDB is well suited in situations like scaling out, caching, and areas where high volume traffic plays an important role as well. And if we talk about different reasons for choosing MongoDB, then there are multiple. If you talk about the features for MongoDB, then again, we can change streams to create powerful data pipelines in MongoDB. And we can again simply define the shard-aware secondary reads, ensuring data consistency from any secondary as well. It is fully expressive array. It allows a fully expressive array updates, which allows us to perform complex array manipulations. And it offers retriable writes, which is simply reduces the error handling as well. So if we talk about the speed to scale, then operational simplicity, making us 10 times to 20 times more productive, and data governance with JSON schema let us precisely control document structures, and most advanced security control with comprehensive access controls, end-to-end encryption and auditing as well. So in terms of speed, again, we know that it utilizes the internal memory for storing working set, which allows for faster access to data. And then in terms of the ease of use, then it simply concentrates on being easy to install, configure, maintain, and use. So for this, MongoDB provides a couple of configuration options and automatically tries to do the correct thing. So this allows the users to work right away instead of spending a lot of time in fine-tuning obscure, again, we can say obscure database configurations, and that makes it much easier to use as well. It makes that process faster. And then it offers the speed to insight. It's a speed to insight. So richer aggregation pipeline enables us to unblock new classes of analytics with less client-side code. And here we have MongoDB connector, for BI, which provides integration with all leading SQL-based BI platforms such as Tableau, ClickView, SAP Business, Objects, etc. And the R driver availability for MongoDB provides us with a native language access to MongoDB to simplify and accelerate the speed of statistical analysis and data mining. And if you talk about the run anywhere, then globally, it's a globally distributed MongoDB service. And the best way to run MongoDB is in the public cloud itself. And it also allows us to have automatic storage scaling capabilities, which reduces the DevOps overhead by provisioning additional cluster storage capacity whenever it is required. And they are, again, along with that, we have other components also available. So basically here, the ability to store the query, to store and query both unstructured and structured data with performance at scale makes MongoDB an important addition to the strategical investment portfolios as well. And MongoDB is basically built to leverage big data, and it holds a great promise of for the development of new storage and processing capabilities. And it also offers the option of being schemaless. So this is perfect for flexible data modeling, altering. And in MongoDB, it is easier to declare, extend, and alter extra fields to the data model, which we cannot do with a traditional, we can say, relational database, and optional learn fields. So using the RDBMS database, one must run scripts primarily in order to update the model. And in this case, it can be done through coding and no scripting is required here. And we also get the NoSQL or Hibernate queries. So the good thing with MongoDB is that the operations are not complex to use without SQL, and the key value and they all are key value based. So easy expression language operators like we have it, we have get. So again, they are all usable when we are working on practice of indexers and cursors as well. So they are also included as a part of the functionality given in MongoDB. So these are the components currently available here. Let's have a quick setup on how we can get started. So first of all, I'm just going to guide you on the process of how exactly it works. So first of all, we are going to install Node.js. So we can download Node.js from the website, and based on the system, based on the platform, we can download it for Windows, for Mac OS, and we can get the source code as well. So once we have downloaded and installed Node.js, just to cross check if we have the proper version of Node.js configured or not, we can run command as cmd, and cmd as in the command prompt. In case we are using Mac OS, then we can open up terminal, and just to cross check that if the proper version of Node has been installed or not, we can type in as node and version. And to cross check if we have the proper version of npm installed or not, we can define npm as well. So basically here we want to check the version of Node. So if we have installed Node, then we are going to get the version being returned to us as v12.18.2. It can be version 10, it can be version 12, depending upon which version we have installed. And then first of all, we can get started by defining the React application itself. So for React, we can make sure that we do have the npm also installed. And in case we don't have the create React app installed, then we can use npm. npm is basically Node package manager, which houses multiple packages. There are multiple inbuilt packages that we can make use of. So here we can use npm create, npm install create React app. So this is going to install the React application component. So this is basically used for creating the React application. So in case we don't have this already installed, then we have to install it first by using this command. So if it is already installed, then it is going to take almost a couple of seconds to come back with a response that it is installed. And then once it has been installed here, then we can make use of create React app to start deploying the React application by using the npm package. So once it has been installed, then we can use create React app, and then we can define the app name. For example, we want to define the name as MERN app. So here we can give the name as MERN app to the application. So our directory is going to be created by the name of MERN app, and then we are going to see MERN app currently being deployed. So once we deploy this, again, the entire app is going to be defined, and it may take a while for the application to be configured properly. Once it is configured, then we are going to see a folder by the name of MERN app automatically being deployed. And within that folder, React, React DOM, and React scripts are going to be installed one by one. And then we can also go ahead with the installation of Express library as well. So just like we have used create React app, we can also make use of the npm to install Express. So we can switch to, first of all, we can switch to the app directory, and then we can install Express. And then we can set up a MongoDB database engine, and then we are going to make use of these together to deploy a simple MERN-based application where we are going to use the front end as React and the backend as the Node.js platform. So as you can see, it has been defined. So first of all, let's say here we can switch to MERN app that we have created, the MERN app directory. And if we want to install Express as well, then we can simply use a small command as npm from npm library manager. We can run the command as install Express. So this is going to install Express from the npm available manager. So here we can see to install, once the application has been deployed, we are going to see the command as cd MERN app and npm start. So once it has been defined, so we can first of all switch to the directory, and then we can run a small command as MERN app, the name of the directory. And then within this app, we can define npm space install space Express. So this is going to install Express in the current library. So once we have configured this, now to start the application, we can use npm start. And this is going to start the React application that we can see being opened up in the browser. So again, depending upon the application and the packages that we have configured, we are going to see this application automatically being started, and then we are going to see the application deployed in the browser itself. So as you can see here on localhost port 3000, the React application is going to be deployed and visible automatically. And then in the meantime, if we navigate to the directory structure here, so for example, if we go to our C folders under users, username, we can find a folder by the name of MERN app, and within this MERN app, the entire node modules and the source as in the application for React, they all have been deployed. Right. So again, if we go back to the browser, we can see the React application has been successfully deployed. And then we can work on creating multiple components in Express. We can define the entire framework for React. We can combine this with even other frameworks. For example, if you want, we can combine this with Bootstrap and other components. And then we can generate the credentials for MongoDB. And then we can see how we can integrate that by combining them all together. And we can open up the entire folder in any code repository itself. For example, currently we have opened up the repository, right? So now let's suppose here we want to see the repository itself. Now this is the entire structure. So under public, we have all the public files available here. And then under source, we have all the source file for the current application. So whatever we are seeing rendered in the browser, that is a part of the application being defined here, where we have the application name, the source. And again, suppose if we replace the entire application with a simple content, then we are going to see the same thing is going to be updated back in the browser as well. So we can make any changes here, and the same change is going to be visible in the browser based on the configuration that we are going to define here as a part of app, or we can see we have the entire app component being defined. So whatever changes we do here, that is going to be available in the browser as well. So for example, here we have the entire application being defined here, right? Suppose if we define division, and in here in the same division we replace this with, suppose, with center, and here we define h1 as welcome to MERN app. We can close h1 here. So basically here we had defined h1, and then we can close center tag as well. So here we have defined a simple content, and if we save this, this is going to be automatically updated back in our application as well. So you can see I just have to replace with welcome to MERN app, and then we can start defining components and start integrating it with any MongoDB database as a part of document-based structure. Thank you so much for joining, guys, and have a great day ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.